In the earlier videos, we talked about the test results that we can access from inside the release, but there's additional data that we can use to review test results and to improve the quality of the testing process. To start with, we'll look at the adaptive testing results. To do that, we'll go to Tests and select Adaptive Testing Results. And we want to make sure that we're looking at the results for the right application and the right version. And after a phase that includes an adaptive testing task runs, this page is updated with the test results. If we have a lot of results to look through, we can filter what's showing by environment or by the specific tags that we applied to the test suites. We can expand table rows to view more details about the test suite executions. And from here, just like we did from the task, we can click Results to see more information. And we can link to the report for even more details. In addition to the adaptive testing results, we can also go to Tests and select Application Testing Insights. And here we can identify trends or anomalies in the tests that have run. A bar graph displays the percentage of successful test suite executions in a given phase. And we can click a specific column in the graphs to see additional details. In addition to these reports, there's also the release quality report that provides additional analysis on the release overall. To look at that, we'll go to Reports and select Release Quality. And we can see a summary of the details for each application in the release. And below that, we can see the code churn for the release. And below the code churn, we can see each of the work items in the release. And this section shows the status of the work item, the number of files in the repository that are associated with it, and the number of commits. We can also see the files that are updated, the number of updated files without test coverage, as well as the total number of tests and the flaky tests for each work item. I'll also note that each work item ID is also a link that opens the work items report. Back up in the application version section, each application version name is also a link that displays the release quality by application version report. And here we can see additional information about the test executions and distribution, flaky tests, and uncovered files in the application. And we can also see the work items that are associated with a specific application. We can also hover over the test execution bar graph to see additional details about that specific execution. And finally, CVD also provides a release score that provides a quick visual indicator of the overall health of the release. If we go to the Releases tab, the score for each release displays on the right, and the highlighted letter is the current score for a release on a scale of A through E, with A being the highest and E being the lowest. The score is clickable and shows the details behind that score. But before we do that, let's open this release. And notice that the score also shows up at the top of the page here. We can click this score at any time to see the details behind that score, both for the entire release and for each application in the release. And the release score is determined by the test coverage, the percentage of flaky tests, and incomplete work items. Now, you'll notice that our release score is admittedly pretty low, but that's not necessarily a bad thing depending on where you are in the release. At the beginning of a release, you're going to have a lot of incomplete work items because you're just getting started. Your test coverage might also be low at the beginning, and you might be working out some kinks with some failing tests. And all of that leads to a low initial score. But as the release moves closer and closer to production, that score should continually improve. In addition to the overall release score, there are two tabs at the bottom of this window. The Top Issues tab identifies problem applications that have failing scores that might warrant a closer look. The All Apps tab shows a score for each metric for each application in the release. So that's a quick introduction to some of the analytics that are available for your adaptive testing to help you assess and improve the overall quality of your test and testing activities, as well as the overall health of the release.